Good day, dear students, and welcome back to another session of English Standard 10th. Hope you and your families are doing well and keeping in good health. Today, we are going to learn a new lesson, Alchemy of Nature. Let us talk about the author Raksha Bharadia. Raksha Bharadia studied political science at the Loreto College in Kolkata. She is now the founder of a relationship website, Bonobology, an interactive platform to rave, rent, discuss, and resolve modern day relationships. She is also an editor of Chicken Soup for Indian Soul. It is available in India and US also. It is a book of 101 stories. The book, which is on the slide, contains small stories of famous personalities. After marriage, she moved to Ahmedabad and spent 5 years of her life as a homemaker. The turning point came when Raksha was asked to write down what she wanted to become on a piece of paper at a self-development workshop she was attending. Thus, she wrote that she wanted to become a writer. This is her area of interest, and then she became a famous writer. To begin with the lesson, the author has taken a stanza from the poem Osaries of Innocence, written by William Blake. She has tried to give us an idea and set the mood for the message that follows in the lesson. So let us start. Alchemy of Nature. To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. By William Blake. Now let us understand this stanza of poem. The poet, that is William Blake, gave importance to the small and insignificant details of life. He gave great importance to small things and minute details in life, which we don't give, and we always blame life. Osaries of Innocence is an example. I will say it is a prime example where he says he stresses on need for mankind to appreciate and respect all forms of nature. Now the author explains the same stanza from her point of view. You can see it on the slide. Something as tiny as a grain of sand can spark off an idea or imagination of a huge significance to the world. Here the author is saying that even a minute worthless grain of sand can give you an idea, can develop a huge thinking that you can transform the world. Let us proceed to the next line. One can witness and experience the beauty of heaven in something as small as wildflower and derive joy forever. Now the author says, if you see a wildflower with full concentration, with complete focus on it, you will find it is so beautiful that you will feel like heaven and will give that joy and happiness which will remain forever. Let us move on to the next line. Only one should have the eyes and time to see it. Means the only thing is you should have that eye and time. Here we have to see things in right perspective. Let us see the second para. Infinity is endless space, but your small palm can hold the destiny of earth through your efforts. The author says that the universe is endless, but your small palm can possess the faith of earth. If you work hard, you can transform the earth with your sheer determination. In the third para, eternity is endless time, but just an hour in your life can make a difference to the world forever. Here the author says that time is without end. It is eternal. It will go on and on, but an hour of your life can change the world. That means you have so much potential in you that you can make a difference, that when the difficult situation comes in your life, don't give up. activate your energy in a positive way. Accept happiness and sorrow in life and move ahead. The last lines: great deeds can surpass the limits of time and space. They never die. Means good deeds can excel the limits of time and space. Good deeds are beyond the restriction of time and space. They won't have any boundaries. People die, good deeds never die. For example, Mahatma Gandhi is remembered for his deeds and concept of non-violence. Let us proceed with the lesson. We instinctively turn to outdoor activities and nature as a way of relaxing and enhancing our well-being. Nature soothes and nurtures. Nature fulfills and motivates. Nature whispers and commands. Are you listening? When I do, it leaves me in complete awe. What does this mean? We feel by a natural instinct, that is instinctively, to go outdoor and do some activity whenever we are bored, upset with something, because nature has power to soothe us, pacify, nourish and relax us, and enrich and enhance our well-being, welfare. Nature fulfills, satisfies, inspires, motivates, whispers, commands, orders us. And then it asks us, are you listening? And when the author does it, it leaves her in full amazement, awe. The next para. We have a hibiscus plant in our garden. Every fortnight a flower blooms on it, big, bright and tender. Through the day it smiles with the sun and dances with the wind. But as evening approaches, it starts wilting. The morning after, it withers completely, and by evening it falls and becomes one with the earth again. The flower comes to life only for a day, yet it does so in full splendor. Now what does this mean? As the hibiscus plant in the author's garden has a flower which blooms in every 2 weeks, it is a big, bright and tender. Full day the flower will smile and dance with the sun and wind, but in the evening it starts wilting, drying, dropping, and in the morning after, that is the next morning, it will dry completely, and by the evening it falls and dies, that is, becomes one with earth. The flower comes to life only for a day, but it lives to its fullest. This shows that the flower knows that it will die, which is sorrow, but lives life with happiness and spreads the message to living life to its fullest. An author asks questions to us. What if too we lived our life, however short, to its fullest? We went to a rocky beach and saw the spread of majestic ocean and the rocks alongside carved, sculpted and shaped by the water. Water is so gentle, rocks so hard, yet as the water flows over it every day for years, the rock gives in. It takes the shape that the water commands. Our problems are so colossal and we are so small, yet if we persist. Here the author goes to a rocky beach and sees the majestic ocean. She sees the rocks are alongside that are curved, sculpted and shaped by water. The rock is so hard, but the water has the power to shape the rocks as it consistently flows over them for years. That is, water is very gentle, yet it is able to give the shape to the rocks. Similarly, our problems may be huge, big, but if we stay determined, focused, persist, we might just be able to overcome them. For example, our parents continue working. They carry on whatever may be the situation. They may have various problems, but they persist, they overcome all the issues and achieved their goals. We saw small bits of grass peeping through the small cracks in a concrete pavement. It left us thinking, however impossible things may look, there is always an opening. Here, when you see a concrete pavement, footpath, there will be a crack somewhere and a bit of grass comes out of it. This concrete pavement is our problem, and the opening crack is opportunity. How much big, huge, tough, hard, or difficult, impossible may be our problem, but there will be an opportunity. No matter how impossible things may seem, we can always find a way. Next para. We saw a tree bare of all leaves in the cold winter months. We thought its chapter was over. But 3 months passed. Spring set in, and the tree was back to its green majesty once again, full of leaves, flowers, birds, and life. What if we too had the conviction that, however difficult things are right now, it will not remain so forever? Remember, this too shall pass. Now the author gives an example of tree. Even a tree that has lost all its leaves in winter turns green at the onset of spring, which means that, however difficult things may seem today, they won't remain so forever. The author also asks the question that, what if we too had the conviction, that is, a strong belief, nothing is permanent. If we had tough time now, it will not remain the same. Remember, this too shall pass. In the next para, the author gives one more example of ant. We saw an army of ants lugging a fly, which was at least 10 times the ant size. The ants organized themselves around the fly, lifted it on frail fillers, and carried it to quite a distance. Their teamwork and perseverance were impressive. What if we too are consistent, organized, focused? Here we see an army of ants lugging a fly, pulling a fly which was at least 10 times the ant size. That is, if we see the ants' legs are very weak and thin. The author was impressed with their teamwork and perseverance, constant effort. Again, the author is asking us a question. What if we too are consistent, organized, focused? Here I would like to give you an example of you people. You are in 10th standard now. You must organize yourself that you should study on daily basis. Take care of your health. You have to focus properly, evenly on everything. Then only you can obtain or score good marks in your board exams. Your perseverance, focus and organization will bring you flying colors. Now the author gives many examples to describe the alchemy of nature. Spider webs are delicate yet very strong. A rainbow colors the entire sky. Oysters take in a grain of sand, they open up with a pearl. Innumerable stars shine across the infinite sky. Clouds take new shape with every passing moment. The wind makes trees dance with unhindered passion. Water without hint of ego changes its form according to the dictates of sun and the wind. When we see a caterpillar turn into a butterfly, a flower turn into a fruit, we experience the alchemy of nature. We touch it and become gold ourselves. Here the author gives numerous examples who serves as a teacher in nature. Like spider web, it's very delicate, but when it spreads over, it becomes strong. A rainbow fills the entire sky with colors. Oyster is a small worm in a shell, where a grain of sand that is problem enters and the oyster turns the grain of sand into pearl, which means to say that the problems in our life makes us strong. There are uncountable stars in the sky that shines. Clouds change their shape with every passing moment, which means time in our life will change. It will never be the same. The tree dances in the wind unhindered. This shows that in problems, difficulty, we should be happy. Water is without ego means we should not stick to one thing and sit. We should not stick to one thing and sit. We should not have an egoistic attitude. The author says that water changes its form according to sun and wind. That is, we should be like water, flow freely with life and nature. We will learn new things, explore ourselves. When caterpillar becomes a butterfly, a flower turns into a fruit. By witnessing this, we see the alchemy of nature. That is, magical and mysterious power of nature. And at last, the author says that if we understand what the nature is trying to teach us, we will never be unhappy and weak in our life. Our life will be transformed in the most positive way, and we will internally turn into gold. Thus we come to the end of the lesson. Students, kindly do the grammar assignment, do as directed in your grammar notebook, and writing skill, report writing to be attached to the file. Thank you. Have a pleasant day. Stay home, stay safe.